What made you create Orbis AI?
I've been working in alarm receiving centres for the last 10, 15 years.
Right.
And for a long time, I've been seeing how operators handle alarms and then platforms and the amount of clicks involved. So it was a combination of making a more efficient user interface, but also improving on the existing alarm filtering technologies that were out there. But he never really understood context. So context being what's really important. Context is what humans use when they're making decisions about how they're going to process an alarm.
Right. Okay. So all born out of efficiency then.
Efficiency, yeah. So looking at how much was being filtered out, the noise that was being filtered out from operators to, what was still remaining, and there was still a lot of noise being caused by staff on site, and operators could obviously see that and understand that it was staff on site.
Yeah.
However, the existing alarm filtering technologies couldn't.
So what kind of volumes were they getting through them technologies?
Hundreds of thousands of alarms.
Right. Okay.
The volumes are quite laughable that people are manually processing that volume of false alarms. So we knew that we needed a better solution. And we had also recently acquired a business called Vigilance, who had a range of rapid deployment cameras out there. We were exploring which of the existing platforms we were going to use to actually bring them on.
Right.
And we decided actually we were going to take this opportunity to actually do what we've always talked about, which was building our own platform.
I suppose what would be good to sort of understand is, out of those hundreds of thousands of alarms that the operators are dealing with Orbis AI, how much more efficient we're making them?
Well, efficiencies are a number of different ways. Obviously, the volume that they're dealing with is lower. The response times are much quicker, but also there's also indirect things as well, such as employee churn. Handling false alarms all day has a massive effect on humans.
Yeah.
And it's not exactly the most enjoyable job to be doing that. So by allowing them to see the most relevant alarms, addresses things like that, but also the false negatives. So events that have been missed, because after an 8-hour, 12-hour shift of processing false alarms, the effectiveness of humans, boy who cried wolf, whereas AI doesn't suffer from that. So it means that actually we see much higher accuracy from the decisions that AI is making when it's used alongside with humans.
Do we then see that staff are happier with that side by side? Brilliant.
Yeah, so there's always this talk about AI as being the threat, but actually when it's used like a co-pilot, it's used at the same time. It means that we can grow without recruiting more, but actually the staff that we've got with us are then focused on parts of the job where they add the most value, which is talking to customers, spending time that way. In terms of the journey of AI, I'm going to call it the journey of computer vision. So computer vision started off back in the analog days when it was simply detecting motion and then triggering alerts from then. It then moved into line crossing type technology, where you could say if somebody crossed into this box in this direction, then trigger. Most of the market now is in the space of classification. So it can say there's a person, there's an animal, and that's pretty much it. But this is a new generation of AI where it understands the context of the site and what the objective is, and actually understands that a Royal Mail delivery guy at 9 o'clock is expected and is a low risk, whereas somebody wearing a balaclava, climbing over a fence, is a very high risk. So it's been able to add that and then be able to define exactly what action to follow.
Is it a straight replacement? So is the ML being replaced with AI vision, or is it more of a layered approach?
It's definitely a layered approach, because different types of AI are better at certain things. So the large language model AI, whilst they're very good at creating narrative and all the rest, they're quite compute intensive, so it's a more expensive type of AI, and it also takes a little bit longer. Whereas the first layer that we run through is simply looking for what we're looking for, and then the second layer is then looking at the specifics, and we also have a third layer in development as well.
So with Orbis AI, we have developed the contextual awareness of the AI, so that as part of the objective of the camera or the objective of the site, we actually capture that and feed that into the AI as well. So rather than just having a security device on site, we can actually feed what the customer's goals and the site specific goals, and even that particular angle of that device, particular goals are for that feed.
In order for AI to be making the best decisions, it actually needed context. So we were feeding AI with events, and it wasn't always getting the decision right when we were first developing this. And then we realized, well, even if I give it to a human, if I give a human a deck of cards and said, decide what is happening here, it wasn't, humans aren't even able to, so you have to give
different
context.
answers off every human.
Yes, yeah, so is the camera pointing in a public area? Is the camera pointing in a private area? What are the things that you're looking out for? So by telling the AI that this is a construction site, rather than being a park, it knows that children don't belong in a construction site. And that was an important part of the development in terms of us improving the accuracies, giving the AI more information, just like you would expect with a human.
The approach we've taken with it as well, actually, in terms of user experience, is one of an informed setup, so that they know what the site is, they know what the objective they're trying to achieve, but we also prompt them with what are some known risks and some known acceptable behaviours as well. And in that way, we can really build up the contextual awareness of what is classified as that risk and adjust the score appropriately. And again, we can do that for an entire site or an individual device and vary that across the board.
Yeah, so we learned as well, so initially we developed it across sites, and then we learned that actually some sites will have some cameras pointing into some areas and
on a fence line.
Yeah, on a fence line. Yeah. So, and some parts of the site with, say, very high value equipment might need to be treated in a different way. So we developed the platform that allows it to be site-wide, but also on an individual basis as well.